Right, hello guys, we're back with another video. Today we've got a bit of a special edition car. This is the 40th edition 996. I don't think we've ever had one of these in our workshop before, have we?
No, we haven't.
You just killed it.
You stumbled up twice as well there. No. Good morning everybody. We've got a rather special 996 in today. This is a model that we haven't worked on before, we haven't sold any before. It's a customer's car that's come in for work, and what it's called is the 40th anniversary edition of the 996. Now, from this angle, it may look like many 996s we've had in. It looks like a Carrera 4S. It's got the Carrera 4S front bumper. It's also got many other features that differentiate it from the standard Carrera and the 4S, such as the special order GT silver paintwork that they all come in. But what we're going to do, we're not going to go into too much detail about the spec right now. We'll do more review of this edition after this part of the video. What we're going to do now is go over the mechanical bits and pieces that this customer's having done to the car and get it in the air and yeah, crack on with that first. Right, here we are underneath the car. Now, this is a very low mileage car. It's only covered 42,000 miles, and although it looks like a very, very clean example, and actually it is a very clean example, it'd be unfair to say otherwise, the customer has just bought this from a renowned Porsche specialist. However, he's bought a car from us previously, a yellow C4S you might have seen in 2 videos back. If you haven't seen it, go and watch it. So he wanted us to do our PDR report, which we've done, and it's here in front of me. And the work that's been compiled from that PDR report is as follows. So he wanted a fresh bill of health on the car. So the major service was due, and the spark plugs hadn't been done in about 8 years, actually, in fact. So we're doing that. There's no note in the service history of a coolant flush, gearbox oil change, or coil packs being done. The brake fluid change hadn't been done in 3 years either, according to our report. So basically all those normal consumable serviceable items we will be doing. Now, actual mechanical faults with the car. Do you want to run us through these?
Yeah.
I'll let you run us through. You take that. I will take that. Come on then, Ollie, run us through.
So it's pretty much the usual sort of stuff we actually find on these 996s, even though it's a really clean car. This front brakes, for example, as you can see, is badly scored on the front. So these will need replacing. We've currently found an aircon leak on the car, which is we've located it to be the usual aircon pipe seal.
And the front to rear pipe on the union there. On the front as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and we've also, in inspecting the front condensers, we've noticed they're actually in quite a bad condition. As you can see, they've got quite a lot of stone damage.
It's leaking on this side, isn't it, on the seal?
Yeah, and it's actually leaking on this seal on this side. As you can see, it's very wet there.
Look how damaged that condenser is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's really bad.
The usual?
Yeah, the usual sort of stuff. And we quite often, most of the time, end up cleaning and protecting these power steering pipes up here, as they do sort of suffer with corrosion. So we sort of make sure that we clean them up and protect them to stop them.
You can just see them back there. Look, there you go.
Yeah. We clean them up and protect them to make sure they stop rotting in the future.
You can see the previous garage that's prepped the car has already put the Jubilee clip around the power steering hose ferrule that always splits there. So they have done some prep work.
Yeah. And also we'll be doing a oil pressure sender as well.
Yeah, so the customer was advising that sporadically the warning light would come on for oil pressure failure, basically.
Yeah.
So that'll be that oil pressure sender that we're always changing.
Yeah, we're always doing them.
Exhaust back boxes?
Yeah, exhaust back boxes. The customer would like Miltech back boxes on this.
So following the report again?
Yeah, which we personally find is our
seams.
favourite exhaust, actually, the Miltech exhaust, in terms of sound. And they're really easy and nice to fit, actually. But yeah, the usual place they go, they just split away here and they start blowing.
You're going to jinx it saying easy and nice to fit now.
Yeah.
Those fixings on the hangers will all be seized.
Usual stuff, really.
We've got anything else? We've got a small oil leak here, haven't we?
Small oil leak from the sump plug washer there. And yeah.
That had just been done. So the garage that sold the car has done the IMS clutch and rear main seal. So we're not doing that, of course. Anything else on that job sheet?
No, I think we're all good for that. And then also just small trivial bits. missing scuttle fixings.
We said about the coil pack, so although the coil packs haven't been done, they're also, we'll struggle to show you, but they're also cracked because they haven't been done in so long.
Yeah, it's very common for those to crack.
PCCM Plus,
yeah,
isn't it? Next page.
Plus as well. I didn't realise it was 2 pages before. Yeah, PCCM Plus as well.
So this customer had the PCCM Plus fitted by us on his yellow C4S when he bought that car, and he likes it so much he wants it in this car as well. Is that it? Are we done? I think that's about it, isn't it? We'll crack on with the work now. Right, Ollie, my son. Do you want to explain what this mess entails?
The mess entails the bumper being off.
Yeah, so we forgot to say the bumper's going off for respray. There's a few stone chips. He wants the front number plate plinth smoothed off. We're going to get rid of that, smooth off the holes, and paint the lower splitter and the centre section here in body colour.
And while that bumper's off, we'll be doing the condensers on the front.
Yeah, so as we spoke about, the condensers are all damaged. We've got the leak coming from the seal here, and just more damage in the condenser up there. So we've got the arch liners off there.
Then at the back here, I'm doing the major service. I've got the rear exhaust back boxes off, ready for the Miltex to go on.
Down there, Miltex on our stock shelf up there in that box.
And we're also replacing the coil packs, and while we're under here as well, we'll be doing the oil pressure sender.
I grabbed a couple of the old coil packs you took off, so there's one. Yeah, I'm gonna come over, I'll come over. More cracks on that one. Come on, focus. Camera won't focus. It's like me in school.
This one here is particularly bad, as you can see. I've just pulled out.
So there we go. Okay, so what I quickly want to show before those exhaust back boxes go back in is the difference in the coil packs. So of course, usually you've got an exhaust back box here, and you've then got a coil pack heat shield here guarding the coil packs. So when we're inspecting the cars, we have to kind of get right underneath, and you can just see up here behind the coil pack heat shield and just see the coil packs. So these are the ones that came off. Ordinarily that one would be inside there where that one is. And as you can see, they're a totally different shape. So these are more of a kind of box shape, and these have got this kind of smaller bit at the top there. So if they've got these ones on here, I think they brought out the new shape like that about 8 years ago. So you know they haven't been changed for at least about 8 years. And there you go, look, you can see that cracking there. So when we look up that gap, that's how you can see the cracks. There we go.
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our growlings when people change, but not us. And we just chilling, kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Pull me up, play me like a bass guitar. Simmer down and mash me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock.
rolling?
Yeah.
Okay, here we have the customer's lovely 40th anniversary edition of the 996. We've completed all our work in the workshop, and we're going to talk about that afterwards when I get it out on the road. What I'm going to do now is talk about the differences that make this a more exclusive car from that of the standard 996. So, starting with the colour that we've already mentioned, every 40th anniversary edition would come in this colour. It's called GT Silver. It's from Porsche's exclusive range. It was a colour introduced on the Porsche GT, so the supercar, that I think, don't quote me on it, came out in about 2004. But you couldn't get a 996 in this colour other than this 40th anniversary edition. If you pan over to the 997 we've got over there, that will show the difference in this colour. It's a subtle difference. That one over there on the 997 is the standard silver that you see on a lot of Porsches. It's called Arctic Silver. This is a kind of a darker shade, and I always describe it as having more of a depth to it. You could maybe say it's a shadow chrome, maybe. I don't know. You could order the 997 in GT Silver, but that was a special order, but not in the 996. Anyway, the second difference we'll talk about is the wheels. So this is the standard wheel that comes on the second gen 996. However, they finished them from standard. I don't think you get them in different colour actually, in a polished finish. Now these have been refurbished, I think, by the garage that just sold our customer the car, but they haven't gone for the repolished finish. They've been painted in a kind of chromed paint. I guess they're trying to mimic the standard finish. But there you are, that's the difference in that. If we move round to the front, so of course we've had the front bumper off, it was stone chipped and whatnot, but the differences the customer asked us to make are the same ones we did for him on his yellow C4S that he bought from us. So the splitter that they come with from standard, we finished in the body colour, GT Silver. The centre grille section here as well was black, we've done that in body colour for him. These two sections come as standard in GT Silver, so that's as it was. And we've removed the number plate and the plinth at his request and smoothed off the holes there. But the bumper itself, as we touched upon before, it's been taken from the Carrera 4S. So the 40th anniversary edition doesn't have the standard Carrera front bumper. It has the 4S bumper. It's slightly fatter, it's got the different intakes on it, and it has that splitter from standard. If we move around to the side, the 40th anniversary edition, unlike the Carrera 2, will come as standard with the side skirts. So you could order that on a Carrera 2, but again, it was a paid option that you had to specify from the factory. What I like about what he's done, the customer and I were discussing this when he came to drop the car off, with the front bumper splitter now being in body colour. Before, if you keep the camera angle where it is, obviously you've got the side skirts in body colour from standard, and the bottom of the car finishes there. But then when you got to the front here, it looked as if it kind of stepped up and then moved along there because that was in black. So it kind of, the bottom profile of the car finishes at the same height now. So I think that's improved that somewhat. Move round to the back. The back of the 40th anniversary edition is unchanged, but for the badging. The bumper's the same, the tailpipe tips are the same, the deck lid's the same, we've got the rear wiper, it's all the same, but for, usually, the 996 will come with badging Carrera 4, Carrera 4S, Carrera. They've just put 911 and then you can just see 40 Jahre in there, which is obviously year in German. So that's it. We move around. Now my opinion, for what it matters, on the looks compared to a standard Carrera. So I like the exclusivity of it. I like that the car is rare and it's got different features to a standard one. I really love the colour. GT Silver is a personal favourite of mine. However, I'm going to say something controversial here. I often see these cars and think they look a bit awkward. I think the front end, having the 4S bumper, it's got kind of a big, chunky, fat and aggressive face to it. But then, does it look a bit disproportionate? It's got the skinny rear end of the Carrera and the Carrera 2. So that's kind of my opinion on it. Could Porsche have maybe, I don't know whether they should have given it the wide body. Could they have done something different with the bumper? Maybe given it some spats to meet up with the side skirts? I don't know. That's my opinion on it, but let's move on to the interior. So, the interior of the 40th anniversary edition is where I think it really comes into its own. So, the features that differentiate it from the standard Carrera are the seats come as standard with the perforated sports leather on the centre panels, so there and there. on the fronts and the backs, which I think not only looks far more attractive, but it is more comfortable. It makes for a nicer place to be. It continues over onto the gear stick gaiter and the handbrake and the steering wheel side sections. The steering wheel itself, so as standard on this car as well, you've got, essentially this is the turbo steering wheel with the triangular center stitched section there. Again, I think that's a marked improvement on the standard steering wheel. The seats themselves are the sports hardback seats with the shoulder supports. So they came as standard, but you could tick a box on your spec sheet, get rid of those, get the standard comfort seats, which are also known as the tombstone seats because the backs look like a tombstone without the shoulder supports. And with that, you'd have got the comfort leather and you'd have got 8-way electric adjustment, whereas these are the mechanical adjustment on the side here. Not many came with those electric seats, the comfort ones. Most that I've seen come with these. They're of course the sports hardback seats, so you've got lovely finish in GT silver, so that was standard on the backs. Really nice touch. You could spec, again, your standard 996 with the sports hardback seats, and then spec it to have the body colour, but it wouldn't be GT silver because you couldn't get a standard 996 in GT silver. So for example, if you got it in Arctic silver, you could spec sports hardback seats, body colour, that'd be Arctic silver, if you're following me. What else have we got? So the binnacle dial surrounds are what they call their aluminium look ones, so they're just painted in silver. So they came as standard. You could spec your normal 996 with those, but you'd have to have paid for it. Again, same with the strip along there for the airbag. Oh, sorry, we've got the body coloured lower centre console as well, GT silver as standard. They all came with that. Again, very nice, I like that a lot. Not as prone to scratching as well as the standard plastic is that you find in the normal 996s. We've got on the kick plates 911, whereas on the standard ones, like the rear badging, you'd get Carrera 4S, Carrera 4, Carrera, whatever the model is. And likewise, down here on the centre console, we've got 911, 40R, and then we've got the number that this particular car is, which is a nice touch, 1409 in this particular car. Now, this car came with the standard PCM unit. Not all came with that, that was a paid option, although most of the cars, the 40th anniversary editions I've seen, have been spec'd with it. Of course, we've now fitted the lovely PCCM Plus for this customer. It looks great. Likewise, the Bose sound system didn't come as standard, but most do have it. Again, you had to option it and pay for it. It's got the subwoofer in the back. I think that's about it. Alcantara suede headlining, that was standard in this car. Most 996s don't have it and you had to pay for it, but you could spec it. Right, that wraps us up. Let's go out in the car. Here we are, out in the 40th anniversary edition then. Now, truth be told, this is my very first time driving a 40th anniversary edition 996, including even this car. I hadn't been out in it until now. The boys in the workshop have been working on it, Ollie and Jack, they've both driven it. Ollie prior to it being completed, and Jack finished off the car, so he test drove it afterwards. However, I haven't driven it until now. Now, I felt and feel as if I already knew exactly what to expect, to be honest. There's three differences in the way in which this is built mechanically compared to that of a standard Carrera. You've got, regarding the suspension, the MO30 chassis comes as standard, which you can spec on a Carrera, of course. We've spoken about loads of times on this channel. So you get 4 slightly stiffer suspension dampers, 4 slightly stiffer springs. They're actually 10mm lower, so they sit the car 10mm lower than that of standard. And the anti-roll bars, front and rear, are again slightly stiffer. So we've got a slightly stiffer chassis. It's called the Sports chassis. Option code MO30, like I say. Secondly, it comes as standard with the limited slip differential. So again, that's an option you can spec on your Carrera. Not many Gen 2s come with that. A few Carrera Gen 1s do. So we've got that as well. And then lastly, we've of course got the X51 Power Pack engine. So again, that comes as standard in this. You could spec that in your Carrera as well, but it was a costly option. I think it was about £9,000 back in 2002, this car is, I think. So not many came with that. So they came as standard with those 3 features. I've driven lots and lots of cars with MO30. I've driven lots of cars with a limited slip differential. And we very recently had those yellow Carrera 4S's with the power pack engine. So I knew what to expect there. So it drives exactly like I thought it would. The chassis is slightly more responsive in the corners and slightly stiffer, so the corners slightly flatter. I really like MO30, it's a really good option to have. The limited slip differential, you're not really going to notice the difference unless you're being a proper lunatic. You would notice the difference on a track when you are reaching the limits of performance of the car or of the driver, but not really on the road, like I say, unless you're being an idiot. And then the X51 power pack, I describe it as it feels sharper, so the throttle response feels crisper and it revs up more cleanly. So the main differences within the engine are the cylinder head is all reconfigured, so you've got different camshaft, there's differences in the valves and the springs and whatnot, and the inlet's different. The bottom end, for all extensive purposes, is the same, but for they've improved it for oil starvation. So there's a difference with the oil pump and there's a difference with the sump. So the sump is it's not as deep and it's baffled, so it's to help prevent oil starvation. But yeah, the differences in performance, it feels a more crisper, freer revving engine. It's 25 horsepower difference, so it's not that significant, but it is a benefit, I suppose. There you go, that's the differences in way in which they are mechanically. This particular car, it's a really low mileage car, so we've done 42,000 miles, so it feels just as one should, so it's a good example to use for this video. So the work that we've completed to the car then, now if we start with the job that we've done that's most notable when I put it in second gear and put my foot down, the Miltech Super Cup back boxes. Now, the 40th anniversary edition doesn't come with any kind of special exhaust system from standard. So it's got exactly the same as what you get on a Carrera or Carrera 4S as standard, and you have to have paid to have the Porsche switchable exhaust like you would on a Carrera. So this one wasn't spec'd with that. It had the standard back boxes, and they sound pretty muted with those exhausts. It's a common complaint, people think they sound too quiet and they want to kind of open up that flat six a little bit. And of course, as is often the case, even though this car's only completed 42,000 miles from new, the seams along the bottom of the back boxes that are made from a mild stainless steel were corroded and split, so it needed new back boxes. The customer that bought the car, that bought the yellow C4S from us recently, we fitted Miltech Super Cups to that and he was so happy with them, he wanted them on this as well. So they're the ones we're recommending, as I've said in the last few videos. You'd think we were sponsored by Miltech, we're not, we just think they're a quality product, so we recommend those. Other bits that we've done to the car, now the air conditioning condensers, as usual, they were all perished in a bad way. We had a leak on one of the seals at the front there, so it's had 2 new condensers. It's just about hot enough at the moment that I want the aircon on, so that's coming through nice and cold. What else have we done? We did the major service, that was due. We did the brake fluid change because that was due. There was no history in the paperwork that I've got in the glove box the customer provided to me when he dropped the car off of a coolant flush ever, or a gearbox oil change, again, ever. So we've done that as well. The coil packs, as you saw, I doubt they'd ever been changed, to be honest. Looking at the state of those, you saw those earlier in the video. So it's got 6 new coil packs on it. Of course, the bumper went off a respray. We fitted 2 new horns. As usual, one of the horns wasn't working, the low tone. So it's had 2 new horns on while the bumper's been off. Oil pressure sender, that was erratic, the reading within the cabin on the dial. So now if I stick that in neutral, that's sitting exactly where it should, just beneath 2 bar. What else have we got? Cleaning the power steering pipes, fitting some missing screws to the front scuttle panel. We cleaned and lubricated the rear spoiler drives that were squeaking. All these normal bits and pieces that we're always doing on these cars that you've seen if you've watched the videos before. I wasn't going to mention this. I said before I wasn't going to touch upon it in the video, but the customer's just bought this from another Porsche specialist, and I am surprised by all these bits and pieces that we've done that should be done in standard prep of one of these cars, but there you are. Oh, and of course we've done the PCCM unit, so that makes a real difference in the car. just makes it much more user-friendly having that. So that's a nice thing to do as well. I think the customer might bring this back to us at some point. Like I expressed in the video a minute ago, I think the rear end of the car is a little bit bland and disproportionate to the kind of front end, and we spoke about maybe a ducktail, but I don't know, it's an exclusive car and should the originality be kept? Don't know. Comment beneath the video in the comment section, do you think a ducktail would look good in this? I think in body colour, not in carbon. So you buy a carbon fibre one, do it in GT silver, and put the 911 badging back on the back. Might look quite nice. Maybe some Fouche wheels, I don't know. Comment in the comment section. I don't like modifying cars, but I like Porsche derived upgrades, if you will. So anyway, I think that about wraps us up. I'm going to get the car back now. It deserves a little clean, and then the customer is picking up tomorrow, which is Monday morning. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.